Los Angeles Clippers are trying to stay alive. They want to push it to a game seven. So game six, what has to happen in order for them to push it to a game seven? And you know what has to happen? Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns have to panic. Here's the thing, guys. and, you know what I thought? I thought about this. People like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, heck, even Steph Curry, they made Kevin Durant when he was on, especially when he was on the Warriors. They made closing out teams look easy. They made it look like you show up, the home team goes up like 10, 15, but you walk them down, then the star becomes a star, and he takes over, and that's it. That's what they made it look like. That's not what it is in real life. It takes the ultimate focus, attitude, preparation in order for you to close out a team. Especially a team like the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals, a team that always believes that they're in it. And Chris Paul doesn't have a lot of success with game sevens. And you know he's thinking about when the Houston Rockets. He's thinking about when the Houston Rockets closed them out with James Harden on the bench. You guys remember that Kevin McHale had Josh Smith out there. I believe Patrick Beverley was on that team at the time. They closed out the Los Angeles Clippers. They were down 20. They came back in that game, and that was a closeout game. So the Clippers were up 3-1, had multiple chances to close that out, and that one game really stood out because they beat the Clippers with the Rockets star player James Harden on the bench. All that is circulated in Phoenix's head, and you could tell because down the stretch of the past couple games, they're just not executing. They're not defending the same way. There's a level of panic that is starting to set in, and that's the only way the Clippers can really stay alive in this series. The team that's closing them out has to panic. Paul George could play well and everything like that, but if you're looking at it, Suns always seem to be right there. It's like, all right, it's a knockout punch coming. Paul George kind of hits them with a little move, get to the line, and it's back to square one. They have to overcome that mental hurdle of we need to close this out. And until they overcome that mental hurdle, this series is going to continue. Now, if the Suns do not close out the Los Angeles Clippers, Game 6, it's over. It's over. Because all that proves is Devin Booker is not who we think he is. Chris Paul, even though he has backup and he has a solid team, he's not the guy to push the team past. And DeAndre Ayton basically is being either used inefficiently or Monty Williams is not making the correct adjustments. Guys, you were up 3-1. You've seen the teams how they're supposed to be. You've seen all their plays, all the sets that are being run. It's basically coming down to pick and roll, one-on-one, Reggie Jackson. If the Suns really wanted to get technical, this is how I would close them out. Just double Paul George and let somebody else beat you. Get the ball out of Paul George's hands, double him every time, let somebody else beat you. Because if Paul George doesn't get you those 40 to 30 points, they're not winning. So that's the formula. The fact that they haven't made that adjustment just goes to show that it's in their head. Reggie Jackson has a campfire in their heads. Like, yo, we can't do that because Reggie's going to go off on us. They're worried about Reggie Jackson. They're worried about everybody is live on that team, especially with the roster that they run with Morris at the 5. They're so scared that everybody else is going to get off that the proverbial house is on fire right now. So they have to win tonight. If they lose, and they lose Game 6, all bets are off. Because Game 7 is, especially on your home floor, and you're the home team, yeah, the crowd is with you. But that's when guys start playing out of character. That's when guys who weren't accustomed to taking a lot of shots start taking them. That's when guys who do take a lot of shots start passing them up. That's when guys who don't get a lot of turnovers start getting turnovers. That's when rare injuries flare up. So Suns have a moral duty to close out this team, to close out the Clippers in Game 6. If they fail to do so, they're just exposing themselves as pretenders for the NBA Finals. And, people can say that's harsh. You can believe what you want to believe. But in order to close out a team, you have to have that killer mentality. And where does that come from? That comes from being who you say you are. Who's Junction? Who's Miss Hoopla? Like, comment, subscribe.